Hello, this is Chelsea Larsel from 1000 Dreams Fund. Thank you so much, Christy. We are just waiting for, I think, one more panelist to join us. Tiffany's on here. So it looks like everyone is here. I want to first introduce our panelists for today, Windy Weng, Bawana Radhakrishnan, and Tiffany Phillips. So they are all wonderful Colgate employees joining us to share a little knowledge about recruitment and entry-level career advice for all of you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I first want to give each of you an opportunity just to tell us what your position is at Colgate and how long you've been with them. So Windy, if you want to start for us.
Yeah, sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Very happy to join this event. I'm working in Colgate as a worldwide director for the global people operations and analytics. And I've been working in Colgate for 16 years. So my role is to leading the human resources function on the digital transformation journey, and at the same time leading our human resources shared services.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Bawana?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Chelsea, for having us here today. So my name is Bhavna. I've been at Colgate for about 15 years now, and I head up also worldwide director for indirect procurement, as well as our procurement digital transformation. So what I do is I manage all of our company's spend and contracts with external third-party suppliers, and also looking at how we, similar to Windy, how we transform our internal digital operations to connect better with the outside world. So that's kind of my role in a nutshell.
Thank you. And Tiffany? Oh, Tiffany, I think your audio is still muted or something. We can't hear you. No, let's see. No, I'm gonna have someone help you from the sidelines. We'll start with questions and we'll come back to you for introduction. So apologies for the technical difficulties, everyone. So to get us started, I want to talk a little bit about the career path. So many of the women joining us today are soon to be young professionals or just now entering the professional world. And I know that Christy and Joanna talked a little bit about this, but you know, there's a sense of like, you're getting to the end of your college career. What is it that I want to do? I don't really know what I want to do. I have this degree, all of these things. And, you know, maybe your first job isn't necessarily so in line with like what you had planned to do, or maybe even in line with your degree. So Bhavna, will you share with us a little bit about how any advice you have for these students who are maybe feeling a little bit lost as they reach the end of their college career, and kind of how you dealt with that in your.
Sure, I'll be happy to, Chelsea. And actually, it was interesting to listen to Joanna just before, because I think the one thing that really resonated with me is what she said is there are no bad mistakes. I think anything that you do, as long as you learn from it and as long as you build on it, they are only good experiences. So if I just think back in my career when I started out. So I did an undergrad in business and accounting, and then I worked for a few months, but then I went straight into an MBA program to study marketing. Now, through my college career, I happened to have experiences working in some of the college campus activities, and I dabbled in things that were closest to what I would consider sales. So I was like, maybe this is something that I would be interested in. So I went ahead right out of college at campus recruitment. I started interviewing for sales jobs, not knowing anything about the field, having studied accounting and economics. Suddenly I find myself in a sales role, right? but it seemed to be something that I enjoyed. So I did that for a few years. And then someone told me about the whole area of procurement. And I'm like, wow, that sounds interesting. I had no idea that there's a function called procurement. I'm like, okay, so I do sales, which is, everything to do with the customer. Procurement does pretty much the opposite of it, which is I switch my entire career from sales to procurement on the other side. And what I realized, having worked now in the procurement field for over 20, 25 years, that the procurement area really interests me as well. And I've never used my MBA in marketing. So I've never been a marketeer, but I have worked with marketeers. I have worked with HR people. I have worked with finance people. I have worked with literally every part of the company, and having those experiences that I did in college, having had the background in finance and economics, having had the background in marketing, it just helps me be a better business partner to the people that I do work with today. So for me, I wouldn't overthink it. I wouldn't overthink what you do next. Take the experiences that you've had, get into a job that you think you would like, try it out. This is the best time in your life to go and experience different things. And I show you, at least from my personal experience, and I think you'll hear the same from everyone. You heard it from Joanna as well. The more different experiences you have, the better you are to bring out the best value that you can bring, not only to yourself, but also to the organization that you work for. So for me, I would not have done my career any differently. I would have still hopped around doing multiple different things, because it is what has led me to where I am today, and I wouldn't have asked for anything different.
That's wonderful. I think to kind of turn almost what some people would see as like a setback into actually like a positive to add to your skill set. I think, that's a wonderful way to look at it, and you're living, breathing proof of just that. So thank you for sharing. Windy, do you want to share a little bit with us about any advice you have, again, for this kind of confused student or student maybe in a first job that doesn't necessarily align with what they see as their, future career path?
Yeah, sure. If I recall back my career stats, before I graduated from the university, I got the offer from Kimberly-Clark. And actually, before I got the offer, I already worked in Kimberly-Clark as an intern. My major in the university was psychology. And from year 2 of my university, I started to think about what is my career. And I keep thinking I cannot figure it out at that time. I was not sure what kind of job I want to go, what will be my first job. So I constantly or consciously seeking the different kind of internship programs in the different companies. I used to work in our multinational advertisement company. I used to work in a market research company. I used to work in an IT company. I joined their different kind of internship program. Through the intern program, I have a more clear on what I want to do. I narrowed down. One of the things I know myself, I enjoy working together with different type of people. And I enjoy helping the others to success. So human resources is one of the things I want to go. And the other thing I'm very clear, I want to go to our truly multinational company. I don't want to, at that time I graduated in China. I don't want to limit my career in China. I really want to have our multinational career. So my suggestion, and then I got the opportunity working Kimberly-Clark, luckily in human resources, and people felt they love working together with me, and I can always deliver beyond their expectations. I proactively seeking the different kind of job works. I learn different things. So they give me the offer. My advice is easily get lost. Don't know, so many choices. I don't know what I can start. Then try to start earlier and try the different kind of things. And through the different kind of internship program, you can figure it out and narrow down the career perspectives. And the second one, my suggestion is to reach out to different people. I think Joanna also talked about to reach out to the others, reach out to the classmates or the professors, the faculty, and the senior people. They already graduated from the university. Check with them what's their experience, how they narrow down their career. That will be very helpful. So that's my advice.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Tiffany, I want to see if we have your audio working again. And if you want to just share with us your position at Colgate, how many years you've been with them, then if you have any additional advice on this kind of, I'm just graduating, I'm not sure what I'm doing exactly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Okay.
hear you. Wonderful.
I've been having some connectivity issues. That's why I'm in my car right now. But hi, everyone. I am Tiffany Phillips. I recently graduated from Xavier University of Louisiana, which is in New Orleans, with my bachelor's of science in chemistry and psychology. So I am new to New Jersey. I interned with Colgate for the summers of 2019 and 2020. And now I am a research scientist working in personal care. And I'm also a part of a rotational program with two other recent graduates who also interned at Colgate. And so we're getting the chance to kind of go through different departments and see kind of what interests us most. And then we'll get placed into one of those areas based off of those experiences.
Wonderful. And I just want to ask you a little bit about, the experience deciding to do an internship that then kind of folded into a long-term job placement and things like that. Is that something that you knew kind of you wanted to do because you wanted to work in the corporate field, or how did you figure out like this was a good gateway? I think that's something that a lot of students get who are kind of nearing the end of their path, or even not, at the beginning. I think college is the time you really begin to explore internships and like what that can mean for you. So can you just share a little bit more about that?
Right. So I actually started research in academia first. So my first two internships, one was on campus and the other one was at UC Davis, which is in California, Northern California, which is where I'm from originally. So I did those two experiences. I just would say just go out and apply, and like based off of applying, you can kind of narrow down your choices based off of what you get. But I just, for myself, I'm kind of comfortable with being in uncomfortable positions. As you guys can see, I've kind of traveled a lot and I'm open to trying new things all the time. So that's actually how I landed on the internship at Colgate. I just stumbled across the email when I was in my junior year of college and clicked on it, applied, got to network, build my network a lot, and meet so many different people when I was on site my first year, and then last year was virtual. So I got to continue to build my network. But I would just say take a risk and apply, even if you think, you might not get something, just go for it. Put all your eggs in one basket and see how it turns out for you. You never know.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I want to go back a little bit to the areas of studies and how that's kind of informed your career path. I know Bhavna, you spoke about it a little more in detail, that you're kind of, even your master's degree didn't quite line up with what you're doing now. But I guess I'm wondering, how much do you feel boxed in anyway by what you decided to study in college or even at the graduate level? And then from that, like, has that allowed you in any maybe surprising ways to explore a different field that didn't come up in like a psychology degree per se?
Sure. Honestly, I think education, at least for me, I think of education as empowering me to do two things. One is it empowers me by giving me technical confidence that I would need in a particular space. And the second, it empowers me with the aptitude or business confidence that I would have to adapt and apply my technical skills to any situation. So I really think of education not as, you know, this is a core course that I use, or you know, I went in and got a particular specialization and that's all I do every day. Now, I'm sure in some areas of STEM, this may look and feel a little different because your role is more technical in nature. But for the path that I followed, which is more a general, I would call it a more general management, business marketing orientation, the technical aspect was more around competencies and skills, and less around the factual knowledge that I had gained during college, right? So I would imagine that this is a little different if you're going to go into an area of research and R&D. The technical nature of your skill set becomes very important, and I would imagine that your college credits and your college courses are very critical to that. And so it is important that you have those to get even an interview for those kind of roles. Now, in my case, like I mentioned, I have often felt that my undergrad in economics and accounting has just made me more adaptable to the current workspace, where you always need to have a business mindset on any problem. So if you understand what the financial backing is, what the economic conditions are, you know, what's happening right now in the world, and understanding the implications of what that is to your company, you're better able to adapt then what that means to your role and what that means for your teams. The flip side, having done an MBA in marketing, I just feel that I understand marketeers, because I used to think like them, I used to work like them, and I appreciate what it is that they do and what it is that they're trying to get to our consumers, which again, as a CPG company, at the end of the day, everything that we do is all about delighting the consumer, right? So I get them. This just makes me a better procurement professional, which again, like I said, has nothing to do with marketing, nothing to do with accounting, nothing to do with economics, but it just makes me a better procurement professional because I understand what it is that they're looking for, right? So for me, I don't think my education has ever boxed me in. If anything, I have used it to build credibility with someone that I'm just meeting anew. We talked about, you know, how important networking is and how important it is to meet different types of people and understand how they strive in their careers and how they drive the company forward, right? So often these diverse education experiences, in my case, have helped me get closer to them, saying, yeah, I understand what you mean because I've done an MBA in marketing. Oh, I understand what you mean because I do have an undergrad in accounting, right? So I can talk to the finance CFO just as easily I can talk to the CMO. So for me, my education has actually freed me and broken down barriers rather than boxed me in.
Thank you so much. Again, like going back to that idea of really flipping that whole concept on its head and looking at it as yet another set of skills that you have to bring to the job set, I think is an incredible way to look at it, and something that, you know, is kind of, at least when you're first starting out harder said than done. So I want to switch gears a little bit to speak about the kind of first 90 days of a new job or probationary, and, you know, first impressions are, you know, important across the board, whether that's about something related to school, something related to work, or something related to your own personal life. And starting with went in with any sort of game plan, so to speak, or some major do's and don'ts. Set yourself up for success at whatever that new job might be. Wendy, do you want to share with us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me clearly? Okay. So the first 90 days, the transition.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. The transition periods to our new job, that is the most challenging parts for the professional career, because the first 90 days, your lack of the well-established working relationship and your lack of the knowledge of this new job. While at the same time, the others, they are so strive to understand you, who you are, what is your working style, what is your personality, and then they can form their perspective about you. Once their perspective has been formed, it's difficult to change. So the first 90 days, either successful or failure, it will be a predictor to predict whether you will be success in the job. So I would say the first 90 days are really critical. If I talk about what are the things should do or don't, one thing for don'ts is don't just head down to look at the technology, the technical stuff. I know a lot of things need to learn in the first 90 days. Often I can see people just focus on the technical stuff and technical knowledge, learn the different things, and then they forget about to look up to see what is the culture, what is the company environment, what is the working relationship with the team in the function or in the company. So I would say don't lose sight on the culture insights, and don't lose sight on the what is the behavior in the team, and also learn different very useful information. So that is don'ts. And do, there are three things I would recommend. The first one is about accelerate learning. The first 90 days have to learn very quickly, and learn different kind of things in a quick way. The second thing is about to secure the first wins. Yes, you need to learn the different kind of things, but you also need to remember, need to deliver. So I would suggest everyone step into our new role to start from have a plan, 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days plan. And then not only just put it into the drawer, you really need to make it happen. And the third one is to get trust with the boss. That is a very critical. In the first 90 days, if people cannot build the trust, then it's very difficult the later on career.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's super helpful. And I think, you know, the idea of having your first 30 days planned out to the 60 to the 90 is something that I'm not even trying necessarily when I began my first job out of college thought about, but I could see where it's really helpful in kind of laying out where exactly you want to go. So thank you for sharing that. It's a great tip. Tiffany, I know that you're kind of at the onset currently of that. You know, I'm not sure where you lie exactly in that 90 days, but really at the beginning of that. So just curious if there are any tips or things that you've done personally in this kind of onset to your own career that you'd like to share.
So like Wendy said, I think that building relationships is very important during those 90 days. And like for working at Colgate, it's very easy to talk to people at the very top of the chain. It's easy to talk to people at the bottom. It's easy to talk to people in the middle. So I would just say, like, don't be afraid to reach out for help and for guidance. Or if you just want to meet new people, to talk to them, to get to know kind of their career path and how they got to the position that they're at today, be open to doing that. And just stepping outside of your comfort zone once again and trying new things. Learning a lot everything moves very fast paced in comparison to like being in college. So that's also an adjustment that you'll have to make. But it's fun to learn a new role and to meet new people of all different cultural backgrounds. You get to learn about other people's cultures, their personalities. So just have fun with it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Bhavna, I'm glad you're back with us. So we were just discussing a little bit about that first 90 days within your career, whatever job that first job might be, but first 90 days kind of establishing yourself. If there's a plan that you kind of go in with, any advice you have for the students who are going to begin that probationary period?
Yeah, it's interesting because I'd not thought of it, but when Windy mentioned it, and Tiffany, you just talked about it as well. It is the relationships, because when you're just starting out, there is so much that you don't know, that you're just learning, because everything that you're seeing, the way people talk to each other, the way people interact with each other, the meeting formats, the PowerPoint templates. I mean, literally every single thing that you see is all new, because that's not how things were in college. That's not how you used to work with your friends in college. You all kind of, you were all peers together, and then you're kind of thrown into a corporate situation where, yes, you're peers, but not friends, right? Not immediately. So that first 90 days, I mean, the best thing that you could do for yourself is actually make some friends, so that you don't feel all alone, so that you have a trusted person that you can go and ask those silly questions to. And I remember starting out anew, I was like a child. I was like a 2-year-old child, observing everything that was going on, right? Learning how people dress, learning how people spoke to each other, learning how people spoke differently to certain people. These are things that no one's going to tell you. You're just going to perceive that, okay, there's something different about this floor, or this side of the floor, or this other side of the floor, right? So I also formed a really strong relationship with my manager at the time, because that person has a vested interest in your success. And the sooner that you and that person can build that form of trust, it really sets you up for again, building that confidence that you can actually go off and do other things, right? So I would say I really echo both of what Windy and Tiffany were just talking about, because I was just thinking back, and that's exactly how my first 90 days went as well.
Thank you all so much. That's really helpful, I think, from the perspective of, again, most of our students are just about to enter that phase. And so to be able to have such great advice from people who have gone through and experienced that themselves. And, I wrote down a couple nuggets from this, including that 30, 60, 90-day plan. And really, I think reaching back to the point about the degree not boxing you in any way, but instead enhancing maybe a different skill set that you bring to a job that has nothing to do with it, but because you have that background, you're able to bring another experience. So I really appreciate all of you taking the time to join us today, sharing a little bit about your experience. Before we go, are there any last pieces of nuggets that you want to leave with our audience? Anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, I would say when you get some lost, don't worry about that, because it's very common to get lost before graduates from the university. And don't forget to reach out to the others and seek for advice.
I would say,
wonderful.
From my perspective, the more windy road is usually the more fulfilling one. So go, enjoy the journey.
Thank you so much, Bhavna.
And I was just going to say again, just be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You're going to learn a lot when you're, my age, I'm young, but you're going to learn a lot over the next couple years from college as you transition into the workforce or into graduate school. So just be open to learning, be open to experiencing new things and stepping outside of your comfort zone so that you can actually grow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Again, I appreciate all three of you joining us today. This was some wonderful information for our students, and thank you for the time. It was great chatting with all of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.